Hey, we got a new bike. Although it's not very good. It's bad. It's really bad. All right, I barely paid any money for this, and I still paid way too much for this bike. So let's see it. Wait, hold on. Let me move this out the way. Now, you guys have to promise not to laugh, okay? All right, fine. You can laugh if you want. This thing is bad. Hold on. I don't got the seat on it. All right, it does have a seat, all right? It's clapped, but it's not that clapped. We do have a terrible seat for it and a piece of broken plastic, whatever. I mean, this thing is in rough condition here. Come on, why don't we get a closer look? Come over here. If you guys can't tell what this is a really shitty Honda Grom clone. So this is a 2016 Tao Hellcat, and it's rough. It was a little rougher when I first got it. It had taped up handle grips like on this, so this throttle tube is broken, but it was taped up on this side also. I had to wire the clutch safety switch together so I could at least try to start it. Now it does run. I did get it to start and run with the other carb that was on there, but that carb is bad. So take it all in, bro. Like, this thing is bad. Look, they got an exhaust that doesn't even go to this. I'm assuming this came off a moped. That's what it looks like. But look at these booger welds, dude. Absolutely atrocious weld. They just welded straight onto the head. It's got a self-tapping screw in there holding it into the rear set. It's terrible, okay? But thankfully, things for this bike are really, really cheap. And I got a nice box of parts here so that we can get this thing back up and running. Now, I didn't spend hardly any money, okay? I bought the cheapest things that I could get. Once I know that it actually will shift through gears, we might spend a little bit more money, get some a little bit nicer stuff for it. Some more maybe actual Grom parts or something. But for now, we just got some cheaper options to get it running, make sure it goes through the gears. The two biggest reasons I decided to get it is, one, I just want a stunt bike to be able to learn on. I felt like this would be a good platform that I don't have to care about it. It can fall over, it can get damaged and beat up, and it's cheap to replace parts, versus the FZ1 over here. Learning to stunt on it, I love doing wheelies on it and learning how to wheelie on it, but if I drop that or loop it or something, it's going to be way, way more expensive and harder to find parts for that than it is something like this. Second reason I got it is I wanted to have something that my wife could learn to ride on, because the FZ1, that's way too much. She's not going to be able to learn on this, but she can learn how to ride on this, and if she drops it or damages it or whatever, it doesn't matter. This thing is, I mean, this thing is absolutely clapped. So a couple things we need, guys. I already got the new grips for it. I got a new throttle tube. We got a new carburetor. I'm not going to worry about cosmetic stuff like the blinkers and stuff for now. I'm just going to make sure it runs, goes through all the gears, and then I might spend a little more. I mean, we got both blinkers broken. They spray painted this thing. You would almost think it was stolen, but they painted over the rear brake, the blinker, they painted over the front. So I mean, this thing was used and abused and thrown out. And another thing I do have to fix as well. So it's common on these cheap Grom replicas that the motor mounts are not very good. So you can see I can just move the whole motor. It's barely, not even in the right position, first of all. Motor mounts need to be addressed as well. And what's funny is they even welded on the shifter, bro. And to make this goofy ass exhaust work, not only did they booger weld it, since it doesn't go the correct route, they had to bend the rear brake. So look at how much they bent this rear brake, dude. Absolutely. I mean, it's still functional, so whatever. The only other part that I'm waiting on to get this thing running is the throttle cable. I have the old one. Where'd it go? This one, it's about to break. Honestly, I could probably make it work just to get it run, but I mean, it doesn't slide very well. It's about to snap as well. So got a new one coming. That should be here today, but we'll go ahead and start putting some parts on it. After we get it running, if I feel like it's halfway decent enough to keep as a stunt bike, then I'll probably, you know, buy a bigger sprocket, put a little stunt cage on it, things like that. Maybe buy a little bit better carburetor, but for now, we're just gonna get it running, make sure everything works. I got my helmet on so I can record with my GoPro. This is not it, dude. It's too hot for all this. So I don't know if we're gonna use the new intake tube or the old one. I wish this carb would have been good, because this is a much better carb than this one. This is a Nibby carb. If this one turns out to not be good, I might be able to use some parts of this one to rebuild this one to make it a little bit better, but I'm gonna hang on to this. I had to get rid of the helmet cam because it was getting way too hot, but I got the carburetor mocked up. I'm gonna end up using the old intake tube, because the way this one orients it, it's just, it puts it into the forks at full lock, and it's just not going to work. This one, however, allow me to have the carb more on this side, and it's also a little bit shorter, so there's going to be a little bit more space where I can fit it. And I'm just going to get rid of the EGR system and get rid of the canister, so I'm not going to worry about all these little extra hoses here. All right, so now that's cleaned up a lot better. Got all the old gasket on there, so we can reuse this now. But they didn't actually send me a gasket for this side, so I'm just going to put some high temp RTV, just a tiny bit on there. Now it's going to look bad, don't judge me, because the top of this is dried out. I got it coming out the corner. I really hate to even use this, but I'm not gonna go buy a gasket. This will be more than sufficient for this little piece of shit. And look at it, it's not terrible. carburetor's on there. I had to cut a little bit of the cooling fins right here on the head. That way the overflow could come out. I really don't like the placement of the overflow. I also had to use an extra spacer in there, so I don't have much space, so I need to get some longer bolts or maybe put some Loctite on there, just because it's gonna vibrate loose potentially. I don't really care for the setup right now, but honestly, I'm just trying to get it to where it'll run, make sure everything runs, and then we'll go back through and make everything nice and pretty. I'm just gonna cap this off right here, and I'm gonna take out this canister and get rid of this system. For our crankcase vent, I'm probably just gonna get a small little filter and hide this away and put that on there somewhere. Now we're gonna put on the new throttle tube and the new grips. I'm gonna try to use as much of this original switch as I can. The new throttle tube doesn't fit in the little insert where it goes into the regular switch how the regular one was. This one just sits right in there. So I'm gonna try to use as much of this as I can because I'd rather not rewire all these switches. So these are the grips and the throttle tube we got. So as you can see, way bigger than the one that was on there. And it's not gonna fit in that original switch housing. So it comes with this. We're gonna use this one and see how much of that regular switch that we can still use. Almost forgot though, I need to put the battery on the charger because it actually has a good battery. It's just dead, which is a nice change because pretty much every single vehicle I've ever purchased, I've had to get a battery for. I think our new throttle tube is going to work, and I was able to keep the original switch without having to cut it or anything, that everything's still being able to fit, which is nice. I am gonna have to take this back off when I get the throttle cable on, just so you know, but it's looking like it's gonna work. We got the carb installed. Now we're just gonna change the oil. I got some leftover Motul 7100 from, I changed the oil on that. I got about 1 quart left. This holds 1 quart, so might as well change the oil in it real quick. Slide our oil pan under, and let's not forget our drain cap. Don't want to do that again. Jesus Christ, look at those welds, dude. That is crazy. Oh my God. If I end up keeping this bike, I'll probably buy a new head for it and get a proper exhaust, because that is wild. But let's see how bad this oil is. Oh Jesus, they weld this motherfucker still. Holy shit, that was tight, dude. All right, let's see how dirty this is gonna be. A little dark, but there's hardly anything in there. Let me stand the bike up a little bit. All right, stand it up. Let's see if we get any more come out of there. Dude, there's almost no oil. That's crazy. All right, well, glad I checked that. All right, now to put about 1 quart of this sweet red sauce into here. You guys have never used Motul before. This actually smells pretty good, which is interesting. There we go, drink up. That should be about 1 quart in there. You know, I shouldn't be surprised there wasn't any oil in it because look at the condition of this bike. The carburetor I got also came with this no-name spark plug too, so we're gonna go ahead and change that out also because I imagine this is probably not great either. Yeah, this thing is fouled up. And the spark plug in and our throttle cable came in, so we could potentially maybe ride this. Probably not, because I forgot I still got to do those engine mounts and fix that because don't want the engine fall out while riding. All right, I think we're ready to start up. New carburetor and fuel lines are connected. We got the oil changed. We got the throttle cable set up. Now this isn't perfect. I definitely need one that has one of those 90-degree metal pieces on it, but you know, we're gonna make do. It snaps back. I probably could have done with one a slight bit longer, but you know what? I think it's gonna work out pretty good. Put the battery back in. Let's see if it'll start. Carburetor's open. All right, key on. We're in neutral. All right, moment of truth. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Choke is up. Oh, it's trying. A little more battery juice. I might need to hook up the jump box to it. Let's see. Hey, Ryan, look at it. Sounds absolutely atrocious, but oh my God. It runs. It's got an exhaust leak like crazy. All right, let's turn it off for now. It definitely runs. We got a huge exhaust leak here from there, booger welds, but it runs, which is nice. So I might end up having to change that anyway, because there is nothing getting through here. This disgusting exhaust off, and I understand why they welded it now, because the head is broken right here. I might actually still be able to use the head that's on there. I'll just have to get an exhaust and see if I can make it work, because while it is broken, so they are normally, they normally have that piece kind of cut out. It's just the part where the bolt goes where it's broke off at, but the bolt still threads into there. So we might get away with still being able to use it, but we'll see. Unfortunately, that means we won't be riding the Grom clone today, but you know what? We made good progress. So look at how tiny it looks compared to the FC1. Oh my God. You guys want to see more content with the Grom clone? You want to see more FC1 content? Make sure you guys subscribe. If you like the video, drop a like for me, but we're going to end it there. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.